Hello and welcome to the MCQ lecture series. In today's class, I'll be dealing with multiple choice questions with respect to microeconomics, which is the special economics paper for SYBA as well as MA Part 1. So let's get started. The first question is dash shows all those combination of two goods which the consumer can buy given his money income or her money income and the prices of two goods. What do you call such a combination of thing? Whether you call it to be a price line, whether you call that to be a budget line, whether you call it to be a budget constraint, or all of the above. So here, if you read carefully, dash shows all those combination of two goods which the consumer can buy given his or her money income and the prices of two goods. This means budget line, price line as well as budget constraint. These are all synonymous to each other. That means all of the above is the correct answer. So a budget line is also called as price line. It is also called as budget constraints. So therefore a budget line or price line or budget constraint shows all those combination of two goods which the consumer can buy given his money income or her money income and the prices of the two goods into consideration. So I hope this first question is pretty much clear. Let us now move to the next question, which is talking about the equation of budget line. Now we know what budget line is, but what is the equation of budget line? Now let us assume here, before understanding the equation, that the income of the consumer is given by M, the price of good X is given by Px, the price of good Y is given by Py, and the quantity of X is given by X and Y. So given these details, what should be the equation of a budget line? So first option is Px into X plus Py into Y should be equal to M. That means price of X into quantity of X plus price of Y into quantity of Y should be equal to the money income M. The second option is Px into X. That means price of X into quantity X plus divided by price of Y into the quantity of Y should be equal to M. The next option is talking about Px into X plus Py into Y should be greater than M. Now here cannot be greater than M because I cannot spend the money which I don't have, because M is my income and within that limited, because it is a constraint, budget constraint or budget line, I cannot go beyond that point. It is a constraint. So this is very obsolete. It cannot be greater than M. It has to be equal to or less than M. So therefore here, and last option is none of the above. So here the equation of budget line is given by point A or option A, that is Px into X plus Py into Y should be equal to M. So this is the correct answer, option A. Yeah, so I hope the concept is pretty much clear given this basic idea of what M, Px, Py, X and Y stand for. So I hope this question is pretty much clear. Let us now move to the next question, which is talking about the slope of budget line. Slope of budget line. Let us now draw a budget line here so that we'll at least get an idea of how to look at a budget line. So here on X axis I am talking about quantity of good X. On Y axis I am talking about quantity of good Y. This line is showing those combination of two goods which a consumer can buy given the money income of the consumer and the prices of the two goods in consideration. This is the budget line. Let us call this to be BL. Yeah. So now what is the slope of this? So now I mean, if at all you know the slope point form, here the intercept at this point is given by obviously my money income M divided by price of X, and here it is given by M divided by price of Y. And when you use the slope point form or you find the slope of any line, you will get one of these options. Let us see now what can be the possible option, whether it is A Px upon Py, whether it is B Mux divided by Muy, that is marginal utility of X divided by marginal utility of Y. It is not defined at all or none of the above. So when you use this slope point form, this intercept M upon Px and M upon Py, what is happening is M will get cancelled and Px upon Py will be the available slope which you get when you look at the slope of a budget line. So therefore slope of a budget line is given by price of X divided by price of Y. So this is the option which is correct with respect to this particular question. I hope the idea of budget line is pretty much clear. How do you find these points is given by, I mean, you need to have a mathematical sort of explanation to derive these points. That means you should be given a certain income and also the prices of two goods x and y, so as to arrive at these 2 points, that is the intercepts on x and y, and then you can find out, or then you connect these points, and this entire line is called as the budget line, and these points intercepts are derived from the total income divided by price of x, the total income divided by price of y, and then you get the intercepts. So anyways, the slope of the budget line, if at all you want to remember, is price of x divided by price of y. Px by py is the slope of budget line. I hope this idea is pretty much clear. Let us now move to the next question, which is talking about budget space. Budget space. So let us look at the question. Budget space is given by dash graph. So we have been given 3 graphs, and we have to look at which of the following is talking about or denoting something called as budget space. Budget space is all those combination of goods a consumer can buy given his budget or his money income as well as the price of two goods, that is all the feasible combination of goods which he or she can buy. So let us look at the first option. BL is the budget line here, quantity of x, quantity of y, and the area below the budget line is shaded, that is on the budget line plus area under the budget line. Here area above the budget line is shaded. Here altogether a different coordinate only is shaded, yeah, and none of the above. So here budget space is given by all the area under this region, yeah, that means any combination on the budget line or within this entire space, this triangular space called as BOL. In this space, if at all there is any combination, that is called as the combination in my budget space, and therefore option A is the correct answer to this particular question related to budget space. I hope the question is pretty much clear. Let us now move to the next question, which is talking about the feasibility point or feasible point with respect to budget line or budget constraint. The question is, which of the following is a feasible point given the budget line PL in the graph? So here the graph is given, OX is talking about quantity of x, OY is talking about quantity of y, PL is the budget line, and there are certain points which are given to us. Point A is inside the budget space, point C is on the budget line, point B is outside, and D is further away from the budget line. So which of the following points are feasible? I've just talked about budget space, and therefore all those points which are on the budget line and below it, yeah, and below it should be the feasible points. And let us look at the options. Option A and C, that means A and C. Option A is talking about A and C only. B is talking about B and D, which are away from the budget line. C is talking about A only and not C, and D says C only. So here we know that any point which is on the budget line and below it should be a feasible point, and therefore option A and C, these 2 points are feasible points given the budget line PL. So I hope the question is pretty much clear. It's a very easy question, easy to get marks if at all you have understanding of the concept per se. Yeah, so this was the 5th question. Let us now move to the next question. Now next question is with respect to the equilibrium conditions. Okay, so more or less the questions are going to be the same, only the wordings are going to be the wordings are a little bit different, or in a sense varies with respect to certain equations as well as certain statements. So let us look at the 6th question. In ordinal utility analysis, a consumer is said to be in equilibrium at dash. So what is the condition of equilibrium? So for a consumer to be in equilibrium in the ordinal utility analysis, we say that the slope of the budget line should be equal to the slope of the marginal rate of substitution, which is the slope of the indifference curve. Yeah, so here this is my budget line and these are different indifference curves. Okay, so this point is the point of equilibrium where the budget line is touching the highest attainable indifference curve, and at this point the slope of budget line is equal to slope of indifference curve. Now I've told you the slope of indifference curve in the previous class. The slope of indifference curve is given by marginal utility of x divided by marginal utility of y, or this is similar to something called as marginal rate of substitution xy. Yeah, and the slope of indifference curve is, just now I have derived the slope of indifference curve here. It is saying px upon py, So let us look at where this equality is being satisfied. So option A is talking about marginal utility of x upon marginal utility of y should be equal to px upon py. Either way, that is slope of the indifference curve should be equal to slope of budget line. Second is marginal utility of x upon price of x should be equal to marginal utility of money. Obsolete. Then this is marginal utility of x upon price of x should be equal to marginal utility of y upon price of y should be equal to marginal utility of money, and none of the above. Here we see that only option A satisfies what we really want to understand, which is the slope of budget line, which is px upon py, should be equal to the slope of indifference curve, or should be equal to marginal rate of substitution xy, and this option is satisfying that. Therefore option A is the point where a consumer is said to be in equilibrium. That means where marginal utility of x upon marginal utility of y should be equal to price of x divided by price of y. So I hope the question is pretty much clear with respect to this. Yeah, so let us now move to the next question, which is on similar grounds but in different terms. So in the ordinal utility analysis, a consumer is said to be in equilibrium at a point where dash is true. Where the consumer is said to be in equilibrium in the ordinal utility analysis, and what condition has to be true for that. Let us look at the options. Slope of indifference curve is equal to slope of budget line, first option. Second is slope of indifference curve is maximum. Next is slope of budget line is maximum, and none of the above. So here again this explanation which says that slope of budget line should be equal to slope of indifference curve, and therefore option A here is the correct answer. That means in ordinal utility analysis, a consumer is said to be in equilibrium at a point where the slope of the indifference curve, which I told you that it is called as marginal rate of substitution between xy and is given by marginal utility of x divided by marginal utility of y, should be equal to the slope of budget line, which is called as which is given by price x divided by price y. Yeah, price of x divided by price of y. This has to be equal. So I hope the question is pretty much clear. See, similar sort of questions, but here I am looking at the equations, here I am looking at the statements. Let us now move to the next question. The next question is talking about at the point of equilibrium in the indifference curve analysis, at the point of equilibrium in the indifference curve analysis, the budget line is touching dash attainable indifference curve. Dash attainable indifference curve. A highest, B lowest, C middle, and D none of the above. So here when we look at the analysis, when we look at the analysis of consumer's equilibrium, this is talking about quantity of x, this is talking about quantity of y. These are the different indifference curves. Yeah, so here my budget line is going to capture the highest attainable indifference curve given my budget and prices of two goods. So here given my budget and the prices of two goods, indifference curves 2, that is IC1, IC2. IC2 is the highest attainable indifference curve given my budget constraint or my budget line. So therefore a consumer is said to be in equilibrium at a point where the budget line is touching the option A is highest, option B lowest, middle, and none of the above. So I said where the budget line is touching the highest attainable indifference curve, because I have something called as budget constraint. Given my money income and the price of two goods, I have to maximize my satisfaction, because here IC2 is the only possibility for me to reach given my budget, and therefore the point at which a consumer is said to be in equilibrium in the indifference curve analysis is that point wherein the budget line is touching the highest attainable indifference curve. So I hope point A or option A is the correct answer, and the question is pretty much clear with respect to the same. Now this marks the end of MCQs with respect to chapter 2. We started with something called as cardinal utility analysis, and then we moved towards looking at the ordinal utility analysis or indifference curve analysis, and we have seen some of the very important questions with respect to the same. In the next class I'll start with the third chapter, which is talking about demand analysis. That means law of demand, determinants of demand, as well as elasticities of demand. So please stay tuned for more. Thank you.